9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your timeless elite, your PR princess, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me, on this special post-show edition of Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor that just wrapped up a couple minutes ago from Salisbury, Maryland. My oh my, what action that we had to cover. We had some incredible matches, some few surprises, matches that we have for Collision, and we're just going to dive right into it. Obviously, of course, it kicked off with 0 Hour. Well, we did have a few matches just to give you some of the results from 0 Hour. Sammy Guevara action. ROH defeated LSG. And also earlier in the show, Shane Taylor Promotions issued an open challenge for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles tonight, which was on the main card. Mina Shirakana and Queen Amanada defeated Janai Kai and Lacey Lane. And Jay Lethal and Lee Johnson of the Lethal Swirl called out the Ops, Samoa Joe and Anthony Bowens, for AEW Collision tomorrow. And we had the Rascals, Densman, Xavier, and Myron Reed defeat the Premier Athletes in tag team action. And that was pretty much 0 Hour. But jumping right into the main card, we actually kicked off with Ring of Honor's very own Nigel McGuinness taking on Josh Woods. This was a really good match between two of these guys that know each other very well, and I did miss it when I was watching Ring of Honor. They did do a bit on commentary together. Obviously, you know Nigel, he does commentary for AEW Collision, so this was no stranger to him. It was a pure wrestling rules match, and it was pretty much definitely a match to kick off the show. And it was won by Mr. Nigel McGuinness. Happy that Nigel gets a win, and he's inching step closer for that pure championship that is held by Lee Moriarty. So congratulations to Nigel McGuinness. Always happy to see him in action as well. We also had our second match, which is one of 3 title defenses. We had the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship match, and our friend of Women's Wrestling Talk, Red Velvet, take on Viva Van, which, by the way, they were tag team partners in a match at CMLL a week prior, but now they're going one-on-one with each other. Definitely a really good second match to really get the crowd hype, and always love that seeing Red Velvet is a fighting champion, and she retained her belts. And also it's very interesting too, because if Red Velvet did not have the women's Ring of Honor Women's Television Champ, I could see her really challenging for Ring of Honor Women's Champion. And I would love to see that somewhere down the line. But right now she's representing Ring of Honor Television Women's Champion. She's wrestling all over the world, and she's proven why she's there. And also, she sent out a challenge to the TBS champion, Willow Nightingale, where Red Velvet was not really pleased that her name was not on the Owen Hart Cup Women's Tournament that we just found out the bracket for, on who this year's participants are. So she called out Willow Nightingale, and we do have another match officially announced for tomorrow on Collision. It will be Willow Nightingale versus Red Velvet for the TBS Championship match. And there's still more to come. But also, we did find out another match. We found 2 more matches that actually happened. Darby Allin will be putting his AEW championship on the line tomorrow against a person that he's been very familiar with, and that is Mr. Sammy Guevara. These 2 will go at it also on Collision. And also the challenge that I met earlier today, where Jay Lethal and Lee Johnson called out Samoa Joe and Anthony Bowens for AEW Collision. It will be official. We get to see tag team actions between all four of these men. Obviously, of course, it's going to be very fun. And if you haven't been paying attention, Anthony Bowens is the newest member of the Ops, which is really great for him because he gets to work with alongside somebody who's been in the game for so long, and happy that he's very, very doing it with Samoa Joe. He's been around the block. He's wrestled almost in every major promotion, and it'll be very cool to see him get a lot of support from a veteran like Samoa Joe and really coming out of his shell a bit, because I do see potential in him as a single star. Do see potential in that, and I don't know, this could lead into something very interesting for him. And as I said this many times, maybe with the guys for the Acclaim, I'm very intrigued by it, but we'll see what happens starting off tomorrow on Collision, where Samoa Joe and Anthony Bowens will be in action against Lee Johnson and Jay Lethal. We also had another title defense that we had. We had the Ring of Honor Women's Pure Championship match. Deonna Purrazzo, New Jersey's own, taking on Diamante, which this has been a grudge match for the last couple weeks. If you've been paying attention to Ring of Honor, these two ladies have been going at it for weeks, where Diamante and the Minions in Training have been blindsiding Deonna for the last couple weeks, and Diamante wanted to be the Ring of Honor Pure Women's Champion, but she was able to get a match in with the Virtuosa, and it was a really good match where showed the technicality of Deonna, where she is known for her submission moves. These two ladies were going at it, and it was really considered a grudge match, but Deonna Purrazzo retained her title successfully through submission, and she's proving why. She is the Ring of Honor Women's Pure Championship, and I love that she was really carrying that belt with pride. Also, if you're in New Jersey next month, her and her husband Steve Macklin are doing a wrestling show next month. You do not want to miss it in Rahway, New Jersey. All the proceeds are going to go to the veterans, which is very near and dear to both Deonna and her husband Steve Macklin. Or if you have not been following, Steve Macklin also served in the military, and they both have a podcast together, and I highly recommend checking it out. They've had many people from TNA, AEW, the Ring of Honor space. They've had many people in the wrestling side, along with the veteran side. You definitely need to give it a good watch. And congratulations to the Virtuosa on retaining and still being Ring of Honor Women's Pure Championship match. And we also had another title defense, which is actually very interesting. The Ring of Honor World Television Championship match. The new champion, AR Fox. If you have not been following Ring of Honor, he won the title last night against Nick Wayne in a very surprising effort and well-deserved. AR Fox in his first title defense against the Blackheart Lio Rush in a very interesting turn in his character, which is very intriguing. And also, hopefully we do get a lot more heels in the division, in the men's division as well. We need to revamp that a little bit. Gets a lot of men heels, which Lio Rush is starting to fit very perfectly, and happy he's getting reps, not just in Ring of Honor. He's been getting reps on Dynamite, where he faced off against Pac, Brody King, and a few other people on there, and even on Collision 2 against Tommaso Ciampa. This was a very hard-hitting match between these two guys, and they really came to blows. We also saw Action Andretti came out because him and Lio Rush were in a tag team together, and Action Andretti was a little bit unsure on where Lio Rush is going. But unfortunately, we thought they were going to be tag team partners to the end, and Action Andretti cost him the match. And AR Fox retained and is still the Ring of Honor World Television Champion. It's going to be very interesting because I could see a program between Action Andretti and Lio Rush, which it's going to really take a turn. And also getting Lio Rush's reaction after his former tag team partner turned on him. But congratulations to AR Fox on retaining and being Ring of Honor World Television Champion. I hope he does have a very solid reign, and love it, love it, love it. Now, this next match right here, I'm not going to lie, this is sleeper match of the night for me. The Ring of Honor Pure Championship match. Lee Moriarty taking on Ace Austin. And this was a good match between these two guys, and they were equally pretty much equal on that level. And I'm happy to see Lee Moriarty really representing being the pure champion and in Ring of Honor, doing work not just alongside Shane Taylor Promotions, but also doing solo work. I know he did an art show a month or two ago alongside Tekla in Florida, and happy he gets to showcase his talent. But Lee Moriarty's been putting a lot of work, and obviously, of course, we did see him compete on Dynamite when Hangman Adam Page was the AEW World's Heavyweight Champion and put out the open challenge. Very happy to see him back. And definitely Ace Austin. Ace Austin has been putting a lot of work in. He wrestled Will Ospreay on Wednesday night on Dynamite, and tonight he had a chance to wrestle against Lee Moriarty for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, and it was definitely a match that these two really brought it down and were even apart. I don't think it's the last time we're going to see these two guys go at it, but very happy Ace Austin is starting to get a lot more reps as a single star, and do see him part of the future of both Ring of Honor and AEW space. But congratulations to Lee Moriarty. We also saw the return. We saw the return of the Kingdom's Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. And we did see Jordan Oliver and Alec Price talking to Lexi because they were coming for the Ring of Honor tag team titles, but they were interrupted by the Kingdom. And also shout out to Mike Bennett because I did see he wore his hat with his wife Maria, the Wild Stems. It's her own small floral business, which I'm very, very thankful for. But also happy to see a little bit of tag team wrestling revived in the Ring of Honor space and seeing a lot more tag teams gunning for the gold. I'm very excited to see where this is going to go. And hopefully they do it right because Ring of Honor's got some good stuff. Now, granted, some of the booking and all the stuff, it's a little bit hard to do, but they do have some good starting points. And hopefully they can keep that going well. But happy to see the tag team division is starting to shape up a little bit. So we're just going right through the matches. Shane Taylor Promotions earlier in the show put out an open challenge to anybody for the Ring of Honor Trios Championship match. It was answered by Dalton Castle and the Outrunners. They have been building a lot of momentum since being a trio on Ring of Honor and really starting to build momentum, and very, very happy to see them fighting for the belt. The fans actually were behind Dalton Castle and the Outrunners, and it was very nice and refreshing to see a good match. It was a fun match. Everybody got involved, and the crowd were really on their feet. But new title change alert. We have new trios champions. We have Dalton Castle and the Outrunners being the new Ring of Honor trios champions. Of course, the celebration got interrupted by Shane Taylor Promotions, who were not happy with the results, and they put a beating on Dalton Castle and the Outrunners. But have no fear. My main squeeze, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, made a surprise appearance at Ring of Honor. And he did not come alone. He had Maryland's own Mark Briscoe of the conglomeration, and they cleaned house, which was very awesome to see. And also with the fact too, Shane Taylor Promotions put a call out to the conglomeration, where instead of the Ring of Honor Trios belt, they're going for the AEW Trios title. And we found out in Collision, another match has been added. We're going to see the conglomeration take on Shane Taylor Promotions in an AEW Trios Eliminator match. And we shall see if Shane Taylor Promotion wins. They are entitled to a future opportunity. Obviously, of course, Mark Briscoe, he has a match against Tommaso Ciampa on a special 3-hour edition of AEW Dynamite and Collision, while also Kyle O'Reilly has an opportunity to face off against Jon Moxley for the Continental Championship match, while also training Will Ospreay. So that's going to be a lot of dynamics in between, but there are a few matches in Collision that are shaping up, and I'm very excited. We also got to see the AEW National Championship on the line. Mark Davis taking on, and I don't want to mispronounce the luchador's name, but it starts with an X. Mark Davis successfully retained the title. It was a good match between the both of them. And really, congratulations again to Mark Davis for getting the AEW National Championship. Granted, I wasn't happy that Jack Perry lost it because of that annoying ball nerve ricochet, but I'm very happy to see Mark Davis get some singles gold, and really curious on what the reign is going to look like, especially since being on the Don Callis family, he had to deal with many shifts, losing a tag team partner to injury, figuring out his place in the Don Callis family, but also being in some major singles matches with some top tier guys in AEW. So he's really putting his footmark in, especially being part of the Don Callis family. So congratulations to Mark Davis. And we also have the two top Ring of Honor world title belts. We have the Ring of Honor men's world championship match. Bandino taking on Blake Christian. I will say this was a really good match between these two. I mean, obviously, of course, Lee Johnson and Jay Lethal tried to interfere, but they got banned from ringside. But it was a really good match and an opportunity to showcase Blake Christian. And it was his coming out party to show that he can be one of the top guys to lead in Ring of Honor. I was very happy him and Bandino were going back and forth. I really thought Blake Christian was going to get the victory because there were a few times that Bandito was this close on losing the title belt, but it was a really good match between those two and definitely showcased the dynamics and also showed Blake Christian could be a future single star in Ring of Honor, because that's an opportunity to grow, to learn, and figure who's going to be the future of Ring of Honor, like who's going to be the people that are going to lead the pack 6 months to 1 to 2 years from now. And it's kind of interesting because I said during this match I had a feeling Swerve was going to come in, but I don't always like to be right. And we found out after the match, Swerve Strickland comes in and attacks Bandino. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to AEW the last couple of weeks, Swerve Strickland has been gunning for the most wanted Bandino for a while. We now know at Double or Nothing, they will be participating in the Owen Hart Cup men's tournament, and they will be meeting in one of the first early matches during Double or Nothing as well, alongside Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay. And Swerve just did the damage and just attacked Bandino and sent a message to him. I'm sure Bandino is probably going to send a message back either tomorrow on Collision or during the 3-hour special on AEW Dynamite. So congratulations again to Bandino. He is over a year as Ring of Honor World Champion. He's been a great champion for Ring of Honor. But as I mentioned, it really did get a chance to showcase Blake Christian, that he can be a future singles player for Ring of Honor. Now, who's going to take the belt from Bandino? I don't know. But we shall see who is capable and who's willing to step up to the plate against the most wanted. And of course, we had the main event, the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, Survival of the Fittest match. Athena taking on Maya World, Trish Adora, Yuka Sakazaki, Billy Starks, and Zeta Steele. All these ladies went at it. And it's crazy. It's crazy because I was saying this on the call for the media call for Ring of Honor. We always talk about women not main eventing on the PLs for WWE, TNA, AEW, and all that stuff. And I was saying this on the call that if you followed Ring of Honor for the last couple of years, they actually did do something right and did something that their counterpart AEW hasn't done yet on pay-per-view. The last couple of years, they've had their women's matches main event and close the show, which that's an added bonus. And I love that. And when I asked Tony that question, he was very impressed with the question that I had. And he said, yeah, I'm happy that you paid attention, and said Ring of Honor, the women's matches, even in the last pay-per-views in the last 2-3 years, they've been main evented by the women, which is nice to see. And that's something that Ring of Honor has done something right. But going back to Survival of the Fittest match, first match ever for the women. Athena was going to have her toughest test yet as the forever Ring of Honor women's champion. Forever Ring of Honor women's champion. All these ladies really showed up, and it really showed on who can carry the Ring of Honor women's division. It was nice to see Trish Adora shine throughout this match, along with Zeta. Zeta Steele. She's been making a name for herself since she's been in the game, and I'm happy she's working alongside Christopher Daniels and Skyflight while Layla Gray is injured. Also happy to see Yuka Sakazaki make an appearance, as she does, really putting in a lot of high-flying moves. Also, Maya World has definitely come out as a single star. We know her and Hyon are a tag team together, but it's nice to see Maya World really putting the effort as a single star. And of course, Billy Starks. We know she's commander-in-chief of Minions in training. She is the counterpart. But I'm very happy to see all these ladies get an opportunity to shine, especially in the main event, having that opportunity. And I'm glad Ring of Honor is letting the women close out the show, which is very nice to see. But your winner and still forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion is Athena. And I'm very happy Athena retained. But if you noticed after the match, Billy Starks had a face of confusion. It didn't surprise me, but it was very interesting to see, because I think I don't want to say the cracks are shown, but I think it's time for Billy Starks to let her go on her own. And I think they should have did this back at Final Battle a year or 2 years ago. Billy Starks needs to be Ring of Honor Women's Champion. I think if there is any person that knows Athena very well, that can get in her head, knows every single move that she does, it has to be Billy Starks. Because if you saw the look on her face, she just looked conflicted. Diamante did not know what to do. So that's something to pay attention to in the coming weeks with Billy Starks. Because do not be shocked if these two ladies meet again in the next few pay-per-views somewhere down the line throughout the year. And I think that would be the time for Billy Starks's coming out party and start the campaign for her to be Ring of Honor Women's Champion. I do believe this is something that booking and creative need to think on, especially with Athena will be in the Owen Hart Cup women's tournament. She will be facing off against Mina Sharikana. And also, it needs to be a lot of trust and chemistry. Who does Athena think could be the one to carry the Ring of Honor women's division on their back? And what better person to do it than a person that's been beside you from the beginning since you've been in Ring of Honor. And I do think it'll be Billy Starks. It's going to be a lot of trust, but also seeing who can take it to the next level and leave it better than she found it, and working from the ground up. So that's something to really pay attention to. But that wraps up Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. And it was a very good, solid pay-per-view that they have. I know people, like I said, they always want to dog walk on Ring of Honor and say everything else. And obviously the so-called paywall, the paywall, that's always something. But I'm very happy that they do put on bigger pay-per-views. Some of the matches that they have are really good, and even some storylines that they have. Not every storyline is going to be great, but they do have some storylines that they could really pull off, and I'm very happy to see Ring of Honor's getting an opportunity. Now, granted, it does need to work on creative-wise and booking-wise. Granted, that's something you want to do, but they're doing the one thing that their counterpart AEW, WWE, and a lot of other major brands aren't doing. They're letting women main event on their pay-per-views, which that speaks volumes in itself. And hopefully that's something boss man Tony Khan looks at that as kind of a playbook, and that could be something that could transition into AEW, getting a women's match to main event a pay-per-view. Now, when. I still have hope for it. It just has to make sense. I would love for it to be involving any women that have been there since day one, and also just creating a compelling story. Now, granted, it can't be on the same level as Tony Storm and Mariah May, but also something that could be not just a replicate, but also like a story that could be like, wow, this is the second best. This is like one of the best women's storylines AEW has had, because I don't want to be just that storyline. I want other women to flourish and be a part of major storylines as well. But that's something we can always talk about in my watch along for Wednesday. But that wraps up Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. Solid show all around. Definitely hit the notes that they wanted. Always love seeing the women main event on the pay-per-view. It's nice to see. Love that they showcase the ladies. Congratulations again to Dalton Castle and the Outrunners being Ring of Honor Trios champions. Such a surprise to see Swerve Strickland, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe being on the show. Happy to see some of the matches announced for Collision. Going to be banger of matches. Darby Allin taking on Sammy Guevara for the AEW World Heavyweight title. Willow Nightingale taking on Red Velvet for the TBS Championship. We're also going to have the Op Samoa Joe and my guy Anthony Bowens taking on Jay Lethal and Lee Johnson. And we're also going to have an AEW Trios Eliminator match. The conglomerations, I believe Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe, and I think Kyle O'Reilly is going to be added to this against Shane Taylor Promotions. If Shane Taylor Promotion wins, they get an opportunity for future AEW Trios Gold. And also Kyle O'Reilly has a big day on Wednesday where he's going to call out Jon Moxley for the Continental Championship match. We already know Mark Briscoe is getting Tommaso Ciampa on Wednesday. But hopefully we'll find out more matches on the 3 hours after Collision's over. But that wraps up the post show for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. It has been such a fun show, and happy I could spend it with all of you. And I'm going to get ready for 80s Wrestling Con happening many hours from now. It's been very, very fun. I know you get to hang out not just with me, you got to hang out with Honey Night SmackDown for a bit. But you guys know where to find me on socials, on at Courtney NJ11 on Twitter and Instagram. Please make sure to follow WWT socials, because we're going to be doing coverage of 80s Wrestling Con tomorrow throughout the day. It's going to be a fun show. I'm very excited. If you're in the New Jersey area, please come out. There's so many people from the 80s that'll be there. Ted DiBiase, Coco Beware, Wendy Richter, Francine, Demolition, so many other stars. So many stars will be there tomorrow. So you do not want to miss it. But like I said, you can follow me on my socials at Courtney NJ11, because I'm doing a lot of stuff. Wednesdays, of course, it's Timeless Elite Wednesdays with me. It's a special 3-hour edition. It's a final Dynamite and Collision go-home show before Double or Nothing in Queens, New York. You do not want to miss it, because we already know we have one match scheduled, Tommaso Ciampa versus Mark Briscoe. I'm sure we're going to have some other matches after AEW Collision. But thank you again for joining with me on this quick post show of Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor with your PR princess, your Timeless Elite, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me on this edition. And thank you again for supporting Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.